Hi, my name is Keegan. Thank you for joining me in the shop today. Today I am sharing my Christmas present that I built for my dad this year, and obviously I didn't want to upload this before Christmas, so here we are, just a couple of weeks after Christmas. It's going to be a new grill grate for his barbecue grill. My dad does a lot of grilling, and I thought it'd be nice to make him kind of a heavy-duty grate that he can have for it and get a lot of years of use out of it. As you can see there by the layout, 24 inches by 19 inches, just trying to figure out how much steel I'm going to need for the perimeter frame. I'm using 3/8 inch steel, mild steel round bar, and just to prove that I'm not lying, there you go. I bought this stuff from Discount Steel and Aluminum in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they sell it in, well, it comes in, I believe, 24 inch or 24 foot lengths. I got it in 12 foot lengths. They had them pre-cut. I hate tape measures that do not stay in place, don't you? So they're marking off how much steel I'm going to need. I think I gave myself 1 or 2 inches of extra just to be safe, and cutting it off here on the portable bandsaw. This is one of the handiest things I've ever built, this little stand for this portable bandsaw I bought on Craigslist, and I highly recommend having one. It is just super handy. You will be using it all the time. So in order to bend the frame, I'm going to just weld a piece of this 3/8 inch round bar onto the table here, and that'll be my pivot point when I heat up the steel and bend it. I apologize about the quality of the arc shot here. I'm still working on trying to get a decent shot of a welding arc. If you want to see really good welding, go check out weldingtipsandtricks.com. He also has a YouTube channel, Welding Tips and Tricks. Jody is his name. I don't know the man personally, but I think I've seen every single one of his videos, and he is the authority on YouTube when it comes to welding. So, but I digress. Here we go. So we're taking the 3/8 inch round bar and applying a little heat with an oxy-acetylene torch. And this first bend, I think I stuck it out about a foot or so. Doesn't really matter how much you stick it out. You want to give yourself a little bit of room. And this stuff bends just so easy. You could probably bend it cold, but you wouldn't get as tight a bend, and I wanted a really tight, like 90-degree bend. And you can see I've got the lines laid out on the table there, so I don't have to measure anymore. Just line them up. So there's a 19-inch side. Get it clamped down, and we'll get it, the next one heated up and bent around. If you just take your time with something like this, it's pretty easy. Not a whole lot of skill involved with applying heat. And I did find that you had to heat it a little bit behind the joint to get a nice tight bend. Didn't want to get that heat out in front of the joint too far, in front of the bend I should say, not the joint. But then just trimming off the extra at the saw. Let's see if I got a flush cut. Not terrible. So obviously you just weld your two cut ends together and grind that flush or smooth or whatever. And I decided to put that joint at the back of the grill so your eye wouldn't be drawn to it if it isn't perfect. And I saved you the boring and tedious process of cutting all of these things to length. All my little filler sticks here. And to space out my filler sticks, I cut a whole bunch of little tiny 3/8 inch bars. So these just space in between, and luckily because I didn't do any math on it, it actually turned out to be pretty close as far as the spacing goes. So I got these 1/4 inch thick steel letters from the same place I bought the steel bar from, the round bar, and they're pretty cool. So my dad's name is Craig, so we're going to inlay these steel letters in, so it'll be a nice little custom touch. I'm using the spray paint to just kind of mask off where all of these round bars need to be cut. The only problem I found was that, yeah, welding through spray paint, not a great proposition, so I ended up having to clean off a lot of spray paint before welding, but live and learn. I guess I should have used a Sharpie or something. But here we go, a little time-lapse photography of me cutting all of these things out. This was one photo every 10 seconds, and it was like 500 photos, so this is well sped up, but it really doesn't take that long once you kind of get into the groove and start cutting these things out. Okay, so once you've got all your cutting done, all that's left to do is to start welding, and there was a lot of welding. I'm using silicon bronze filler metal because it flows out really nicely. You use a lot less heat, and so thereby less distortion, and it looks nice too. So using that, I built this upside down because I wanted the letters and the bars to be flush, all one plane surface, so that when you're scraping your grill tools along, you don't catch an edge on a letter or something like that. So just taking your time and kind of skipping around and welding all this stuff. I used clamps, and I used that, you can see that 1/4 inch thick bar stock back there, trying to keep the grill as flat and distortion free as possible. And you get it all welded up and flipped over and turned around, and you end up with something like this once you clean it up. And it turned out pretty good, I think. You can see some silicon bronze there on the G, filling in some gaps in there on the C. Might have cut those pieces a little bit too short, but that's alright. Dad doesn't mind. And there it is, all installed in his grill, ready for many burgers and steaks. Well, that about does it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the grill if you want to subscribe, or click your subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. And always feel free to leave me any comments that you'd like, or hit the thumbs up button if you thought I did a good job. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time in the shop.